Hello, Oracles. Well, we had a little bit of a red day today. Not a huge deal. We are still on an upward trend in the market. So it seems like based on some patterns, we have hit a double bottom. But how long is this going to last? We don't know. We'll follow this as we go forward. We are anticipating, CPI data coming out in a few weeks. We've got a very weak Q2 earnings coming up. We've got GDP data that's going to come out officially at the end of July or beginning of August to let us know if we are officially in a recession or not. So still lots of uncertainty in the macro environment, but in the current moment, we are still on an upward trend despite the red that we had today. So we'll monitor how we play out the rest of this week because I do anticipate a pullback coming. But in the meantime, if we can get some profits, obviously they will be welcome. With the year we've had, any profits we can take are going to be good. So today we saw Tesla was down 0.32%. We had the Dow was down 0.19%. The S&P was down 0.29%. And the Nasdaq was down 0.71%. So not a huge red day, but definitely a little red. But these are the times where we're learning. And I know in the beginning when I started to trade, and I still make mistakes now, but I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. And a lot of beginner mistakes, which were trading emotionally. And the problem is when things were selling off, I was so closely paying attention to the market and every single penny moving, wondering, oh, where's it going to go now? Where's it going to go now? That, I would be like, oh, I was afraid, is it going to go up more? I don't want to lose my profits. Such little planning that I had. I was really trading in the moment, and I didn't have the knowledge to trade in the moment. It is much easier, in my eyes, with the time that I have, to be able to be a long-term investor. So long-term investing is all about where do you see the potential of the company in the future? Where do you think it is right now? What do you think right now is a good price to buy at? And just buy. Very simple trading, and you just monitor over time to make sure the fundamentals of the company stay strong. And when you're focusing on the fundamentals of the company, you have to ignore the stock price at the moment for the most part. And the reason I say that is because, the stock price is going to move all over the place by people who do the day trading for a profession. And they're manipulating people and their emotions. And the people who are manipulating don't have their emotions involved because they know that they are going to be manipulating your emotions. And when it comes to the stock market, there is a transfer of wealth from the panicking to the patient. And so for those of you who are long-term investors and you're just sitting on the sidelines waiting to see what's going to happen in the future, a lot of the wealth that is out there from all of the panic day traders, they're selling out when the stock is down. They're selling for a loss. They put money in and they sold for a loss. That money is going to go somewhere, and it's going to go to the people and the institutions and the hedge funds who are in it for the long term. And so any of you who have been long-term investors in the market know full well what this is like. Especially those of you who are invested in Tesla long-term and you went through 2017, 2018, and all the way up till now. If you just held all the way through that, you would have known very well that you are significantly better positioned than you were when you first bought. Despite the fact that the stock price was all over the place, because all along the way, the fundamentals of the company grew. This is going to hold true for the stock market as a general, which is why many people invest in the indices. Because if you invest in like the S&P fund, it is going to grow over time. Yes, you're going to have lulls like we have this year. It's going to happen. But when you're looking long-term, 5 to 10 years, normally that is going to go away. Even when you look back at the dot-com bubble, the S&P still did well coming out of that. You just had to be patient. And that's what it's all about, is being patient. Now, I know some of you on here do trade daily or do a lot of options. That's a way to go, but you need to have a lot of skill. And I know many of you, you have good days and you have bad days. And the whole point behind all of that is just make sure you have more good days than you have bad days. That's all it comes down to. If it's a net win in the end, that's great. For me, I don't want to play those emotional swings because some days, you're happy and some days you're not. And at the end of the day, is it really worth all of that stress? For me, it's not. So I just don't do that. Now, when the Tesla splits, I will be looking at playing some options. I'll probably end up selling some puts because for me, a lot of times when I'm buying extra Tesla, I'm just going to be looking at, all right, what price do I want to see the stock coming down to? I know we're on a downtrend, so where do I want to buy? And I'll set a limit buy. Really, difference between that and selling puts is there's a little more volatility into it, and I may not actually get that buy to go through. So there's still a chance and a risk reward factor that goes into options, but that's basically how I would play it. And so it's extremely important to just make sure you keep your emotions in check when it comes to investing in the stock market, because that's a lot of what the manipulation is all about, is more manipulating your emotions to be able to take your money, making you panic and sell so that other people can take your money. Because when you're panic selling at a low price, other people who are investing wisely are buying at that low price. Now granted, in the market we're in right now, it's all over the place, so we don't know where the bottom is. We saw what could potentially be a double bottom, so maybe now is a good time to buy, but you don't know. So this is why dollar cost averaging historically over time is the best way to go when you're investing long term. And for me, when I'm investing long term, especially when it comes to technology and growth stocks, I look at the future. I used to be one of those people, and I still have a little bit in me, who would be like, you know what, I want to save up money because there's things that I didn't have when I was a kid that I want to have now. A lot of people were out there, with cars. Maybe they grew up with all those muscle cars, and they got older and they're like, you know what, I finally got a chance to live my dream and buy the muscle car or the car that I always wanted when I was younger. That happens. Many people still do that. For me, I used to be more like that. Now I'm more about, what is the future? I want to live more in the future. I want to be on that cutting edge of technology. So I want to get myself to a place where I could be on that edge of technology. Want to have a new Tesla with FSD beta. I'm not there yet. I'm working on it. But, in the back of my mind, I also think, I'd love to have a Super Nintendo again and play those games that I loved playing when I was a kid. So it's not bad to have both, but when it comes to the reality of the majority of where I want to invest my money in the future, it's going to be in the future. So when it comes to investing my money, I'm not going to be investing in the past, which to me would be legacy auto. I want to invest in where is the world going in the future. To me, that is Tesla. There are other growth stocks as well that could be argued that are great plays, maybe Amazon, Google, Apple. You guys can discuss that in the comments as to what other stocks you think would be great for the future of the world. For me, it's Tesla. That's why this channel is mostly around Tesla. But we discuss other things with the stock market, like, when it comes to the emotions of trading and why it's so important to make sure you take those emotions out, take a look at everything logically and say, what is the best place I can put my money for the future and the most growth I can get? And I had several of you asking in the video that I made about retiring on Tesla about why I don't have more invested in Tesla. Why am I not all in? Why do I not put more money into it? So for me, my strategy is I still have a very small portfolio. So because of that, I want to add as much Tesla as I possibly can. In order to add more Tesla, I need to have more cash flow coming in. My current job and where I'm at right now only allows me a certain amount of money coming in. I'm capped at that. So I need to find other revenue streams to be able to put more money into Tesla. My outlook on Tesla is a minimum of 10 years. So I'll be investing money over that time. But I have a sooner goal to be able to get out of my job and do something else that I really enjoy doing well before that 10 years. So I'm not looking to stay at my job for 10 years, so I need to find out something in between to convert over to. For me, that's going to be real estate. So right now, while I still have 62% of my portfolio is Tesla, so yes, a majority of my portfolio is definitely Tesla, and I'm growing that. Right now, my goal is to get to 69%, and it will end up pushing past that as I clear out of some of the other stocks that I don't want to have anymore. So I will be pushing that number higher and higher, but in the meantime, I'm saving up to buy some real estate. I don't own, I'm currently renting, and as my eyes, renting is really just me giving my money to someone else. So I want to be able to own property and use it as cash flow generation. So that is where my plan is. So that's why I have a lot more money going into my savings right now to buy a house, because my goal is over the next 5 years to be able to, instead of putting $15 to $20 a day into Tesla, I can put $100 to $200 a day into Tesla. So I hope that answers a lot of the questions that you guys had about my investing strategies. And yes, I do see Tesla right now as the best place you can put your money for long-term growth, but my current focus is cash flow generation. Tesla is not going to provide me with that until 10 years down the road. So that's why I'm investing as I am, the way I am, to be able to get that cash flow generation to put more money into Tesla in the future. And with the market right now, we are still in a very strange place where there's a lot of upside people that are out there and a lot of downside people. And it's a relatively extreme spread between these two. So, this is why, I don't know. Nobody can predict the future because there's a lot of people who are predicting that we are going to be going to all-time highs by the end of the year. And there's a lot of people who are thinking that we are going to be crashing even further by the end of the year. Who's going to be right? Nobody knows. So for me, this is why I dollar cost average, and I'm keeping cash on the sidelines just in case we do end up getting that worst case scenario and come crashing down further. And because of this huge dichotomy we have, your emotions can really get involved because of the massive swings that we are having. So let me know in the comments below, and I know we discussed this months and months ago about, just making sure your emotions are in check. And we're in a good place right now. Despite the red day today, we're on an uptrend, we're feeling good, and I don't want to take any wind out of our sails, but you got to be realistic about the entire situation. Just make sure that your emotions are out and you're not getting overly euphoric about moves in the stock market. We still have a long way to go up in many, many stocks before we can get back to where we were before at those euphoric highs that we had. But as we're moving up, the sentiment tends to swing that way, and it's good. We want that sentiment to swing in that direction, but you want to make sure that you're not getting overly excited about it. Be excited, but make sure that you keep yourself in check. So let's get a feel for how you guys are out there right now. How are you feeling? Are you euphoric right now, feeling a nice run going on? Are you still kind of in, depressed mode where, the stocks are still down and beat up and you'd love it to go even more green? Let me know where you're feeling, because it's very important, to understand your emotions. And you don't want to not feel them. You want to feel your emotions, but make sure that you're not having those emotions control your investing. So it's good to talk about them and good to understand where you are at emotionally when it comes to the stock market if you are watching it at this moment. So let me know in the comments where you're at, and where do you think you see the stock market in the future? Where do you think we're going to be at the end of the year? Do you think we are going to be approaching all-time highs? Or do you think we are going to be crashing further down than we are right now? Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord channel. That link is in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, I do have a Patreon. That link is also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.